Do you think failure will hold you back? Think again. What if failure was actually the path to growth? You can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. The road to success is paved with failure. Welcome back to MindFit Fusion. Failure has gotten a bad reputation in our society. From an early age, we are taught to avoid mistakes and strive for perfection. Our education system rewards those who get the right answers, while mistakes are seen as signs of weakness or inadequacy. As a result, we start to fear failure, believing it means we are not smart or capable enough. We go through life trying to minimize errors and aiming to get everything right the first time. But this mindset severely limits our potential for growth and success. The truth is, failure is a necessary part of the learning process. It provides valuable feedback and teaches us what doesn't work. Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors in history, viewed failure as another step forward. He tried over 10,000 experiments before successfully inventing the light bulb. Can you imagine if he'd given up after the first 100 tries, just because he hadn't gotten it right yet? Failure prepares you for success. Failure exposes your weaknesses and allows you to see where you need to improve. Each failure provides an opportunity to grow. Without failure, your growth is limited. Think of failure as training for success. A marathon runner doesn't show up on race day without months of training runs. Similarly, you can't expect to succeed without failures that exercise your abilities and prepare you for challenges ahead. Michael Jordan, considered by many to be the greatest basketball player ever, said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Can you see how embracing failure positioned him for success? Failure builds resilience. Failing also helps build mental toughness and resilience. When you experience a setback but keep going, that effort builds character. Resilience developed through failure equips you to handle adversity and bounce back from challenges. This mental strength allows you to take risks and explore your potential without being limited by fear of failure. Thomas Edison demonstrated remarkable resilience, viewing each unsuccessful filament as bringing him closer to inventing the perfect one for the light bulb. Likewise, approach each failure as one step closer to success. With a resilient mindset, you'll be able to persist through obstacles that once held you back. Failure opens new possibilities. When we fail, it forces us to reconsider our approach and explore alternatives we may never have considered. Failure compels innovation. For instance, sportswear giant Nike traces its origins to Phil Knight's college business selling running shoes from the trunk of his car. When that business struggled, Knight came up with the game-changing idea of outsourcing shoe production to Japan. Adversity led to a breakthrough innovation. So next time you fail, instead of seeing it as the end, look at it as the start of new possibilities. Be open to changing direction and trying new solutions. With this mindset of creativity and experimentation, you'll be able to turn failures into innovative breakthroughs. Failure connects you with your purpose. For many successful people, early failures were wake-up calls that connected them to their purpose. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he co-founded. It was devastating at the time, but he later said it freed him to start again and led him back to doing what he loved. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first TV job for being unfit for television. She went on to become the queen of talk shows and one of the most successful media moguls ever. Don't let failure make you lose sight of what you really want. Use it as an opportunity to reconnect with your passion and purpose. Channel that drive into persevering until you make your vision a reality. When we fail, it's easy to start doubting ourselves and internalizing negative self-talk. But remember, you are not a failure just because you failed at something. One failure does not define your identity or self-worth. Don't let it crush your confidence or distort your self-image. Instead, view failures as your compass, providing insights into changes you may need to make. Keep failing until you succeed. Each failure brings you closer to your destination. When Thomas Edison was branded a failure for his unsuccessful experiments, he said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work. That's the mindset you need to embrace failure without losing hope. Developing a growth mindset is key to overcoming your fear of failure and using it to reach your potential. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research shows that people with a growth mindset believe abilities can be developed through effort. They view failure as an opportunity to improve. Conversely, people with a fixed mindset believe intelligence and talent are innate and fixed. They avoid failure because they see it as proof of permanent deficiency. Cultivate a growth mindset by reminding yourself that you have untapped potential that can be developed through practice. Don't define yourself by failures or temporary setbacks. Focus on learning and progress, not immediate perfection. Internalize the fact that you can get better through deliberate effort. This mindset fuels persistence, which enables success. Change your relationship with failure. Hopefully by now you can see that failure is not something to be avoided. It's a teacher to be embraced. But changing your mindset takes work. Here are some strategies. Recognize that failure is normal, not a sign of permanent flaw. Everyone fails sometime. Allow yourself to be imperfect. View failures neutrally as data, not as self-judgment. Focus on learning lessons, not assigning blame. Celebrate small failures as signs of progress. You're pushing boundaries, which is the only path to growth. Share your failures openly. This models a growth mindset and creates a culture where failure breeds learning. Analyze failures to glean insights, but don't obsess over them. Shift your focus to your next attempt. Recall past failures you overcame. This builds confidence in your ability to do it again. By reframing failure as essential for growth, you remove the fear-based stigma and open yourself to its transformative power. Use failure as fuel to propel yourself to new heights of achievement. Learn from your mistakes. To derive value from failure, you must be intentional about learning from it. After a setback, take time to reflect. What went wrong? Identify the root causes without self-judgment. How can I improve my approach? Look for specific ways to do things differently. What am I learning? Failure exposes gaps. Be ready to grow. How can I aim higher? Failures remind us our reach often exceeds our grasp. Analyze failures with curiosity, not frustration. Each failure offers lessons that can pave the way for your next success. There's a wisdom in failing forward. Fail early, fail often, but always fail forward. This quote by entrepreneur Dave Kerpen perfectly sums up the mindset needed to turn failure into fuel for growth and success. The secret to unlocking your full potential is not avoiding failure at all costs, but embracing failure as the path to growth. Release your fear of failure and unlock the future that awaits you. Be relentless in your readiness to fail, learn, and grow. With courage and tenacity, use failure as a slingshot to propel yourself to heights you never thought possible. That is the secret to becoming your best self and living the life you were created for. What's one important lesson you've learned from a past failure or setback? What's an area of growth you see for yourself that failure has recently revealed? Let me know in the comments section. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the MindFit Fusion channel for more videos on harnessing the power of failure and developing yourself to your full potential.